purchasing Solana when everyone was saying that it's dead. They see that people made $200,000, $300,000 in one trade, and they say to themselves, like, well, why haven't I done that? There's a specific group of people that are willing to put big money on trades and also have the conviction to hold. I think on Twitter, when you go and you look, it seems like everyone's just winning all the time. What's going on, everyone? I'm here today with Easy. Easy has been one of my friends for the past couple of years. He's the man. I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we're going to get into a conversation that's totally surrounded by meme coins, trading, and things that we've experienced over time, things that we're doing, how we're finding plays, how we're making money, and all that kind of thing. So, Easy, what's up?
No, I appreciate you having me on, bro. It's long overdue. I know we talk frequently, both active trench warriors at the moment. But yeah, it's great to be here. EasyEats Bodega, all over the timeline, just trading, sharing thoughts, NFTs, meme coins, crypto in general, majors, altcoins, you name it. It's been my life for the last handful of years, and I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. So excited for the conversation.
So what are you spending the most time on right now?
It's definitely meme coins, like for sure. It's actively trading. It's VCs. It's diving into what is the hot new narrative of the day. But I'm definitely more of an aggressive trader. Like, I mean, I just start a wallet almost every day with like 5 SOL and just trade that. And if I wash it, I stop trading. Like if I lose the 5 SOL, I'm out. If I make a ton of money on it, the following that night before I go to sleep, I withdraw that back to 5 SOL, start fresh. So it's like more so keeping myself grounded on like these active trades, but it's a lot of swings on meme coins right now, almost entirely meme coins. I've seen the NFT pumps a little bit, but I'm not interested right now. More interested because a lot of people are like trying to say meme coins are going to slow down. I think this entire cycle is going to be meme coins, like the whole thing. So I'd rather just focus my time there.
So before we go any further, you were buying the absolute pico bottom of Solana, and you were up a disgusting amount on that spot trade alone.
Yeah.
First of all, how did you have the foresight and the conviction to be purchasing Solana when everyone was saying that it's dead? And then second of all, with that also being said, and knowing that you have a lot of Solana, why are you only trading with 5 SOL on a daily basis?
Both good questions. The sole conviction came from me just being like a diehard believer in Solana August, September of 2021. So when everyone was on ETH trading ETH NFTs, I was trading Solana NFTs and like really integrating into the ecosystem. And everyone was like, dude, you're not making any money, like piss poor gains, small gains, etc. I hit Boryoku Dragons for like a 6-figure trade. I remember Fuck Render and Farouk both bought them for like 55 grand. I think Fuck Render bought one of mine that I had listed, which is hilarious in the grand scheme of things, because those things are down terribly now, which is tough. But hey, listen, if you can make a trade like that, you may as well. And then watching the rise and subsequent fall with the FTX collapse, my whole thesis like didn't change at all. I remember I DM'd Anatoly when FTX collapsed, and it was just kind of like, hey, this has got to be tough for you, but like nothing's really changed as far as like the conviction. The only thing out is like everyone's narrative that it's a VC scam chain ran by FTX. So my whole thing was like, if the foundation isn't leaving, if the builders aren't leaving, if the participants aren't leaving, why would I not buy the thing that I'm like wildly confident will be the retail chain? Like user experience wise, it was miles ahead of ETH, even during the ETH bull run with NFTs and crypto. And for me, that was where I was like, okay, I have conviction in this thing. I bought it all the way up to 260. I'm still holding that. Why would I not take some of the gains from the NFTs on ETH and everything else and just full port this if I think it can even get back to $100? You know, like that's a 10x on size. And then as I continued to see the narrative drive towards meme coins on Sol this cycle, I'm like, yeah, my target's been 480 for Solana. A lot of people call for 1,000. I'm like just shy of 500, just purely because of like inflation and some of these other metrics, where I'm like, okay, if we can get there, I feel really good. And my spot bags are life-changing money. And if it goes to zero, it's like, yeah, that's tough. But at the same time, like my story, and the people have heard it before, is like I've ran 600 grand into zero in the 2018 run. So like for me, it was like, okay, well, we've done it again. We can do it again if it gets to that point. But I'd rather take a risk on something that I'm wildly convicted in and truly believe will be like what retail prefers to use as far as the blockchain goes. So it led to that. And then the whole 5 Sol thing is, it's more just because like I trade a lot with the Bodagos Discord, and a lot of them have smaller wallet sizes. So like that's not saying like I don't buy certain coins I have conviction in. Like I bought Mundi, that like art coin recently at 3 mil with some serious size, intentionally. But like that wasn't, I didn't have to buy it on like a Bullx. Like I could just swap it, and I was like more comfortable with that because it's also like if I'm watching it in Bullx, I'm gonna want to sell. Like I'm a terrible bag holder, dude. Like I trade and sell really fast. So like watching those gains of like 1,000, 2,000%, I'm out at like 100, 150, sometimes even less. And like for that 5 Sol keeps me really grounded when I'm like actively trading to be like, okay, what's the market doing? How's the market maneuvering here? It kind of just gives me balance to like be realistic about what the market's actually doing versus like the conviction sizes where I'm like buying 100, 200 Sol of stuff and letting that swing for a couple days, if not a week, if not longer. Like, and even then, like, there's opportunity now where I'm like, I took out a huge long on Mudang after the Binance listing on a perps platform and ended up, I think I made like 240 grand on it. And that was like, I had to deposit Solana collateral. So, like, stuff like that is like, I have size plays I make, but the 5 Sol is like my active scalp trading, day trading, finding runners, seeing what you can do with a small bag, because I think it just keeps you more realistic of the market. I think it like helps you see where the majority of people are actually trading, and that edge is significantly better than any edge.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a there's a lot of things in there. First of all, you made a 250,000 casually this morning.
No, not today. It was the Binance listing. So when they got
Oh,
listed on
okay.
Binance, not Coinbase. So
Sorry,
the Binance
I
listing,
misheard that. I
yeah,
thought
the Binance pump, yeah,
in
was
theory you
crazy.
could have done it again on the same situation. We
Deep
were
text
talking about that
chat.
before this, is that like how lucky is it that Mudang has gotten bailed out of this, just I mean it's just it's been slowly dying off, and then it just gets these crazy listings. I think that Chill Guy probably has a good chance of being next, depending on what happens with the artist there, but I don't really want to get into speculating on specific tokens. Yeah, I think because I also did round trip like a lot last cycle as well, and throughout the past 2 years, you and I both stayed. Obviously, you continue to trade and make content, and one of the things that really changed for me is I lost conviction in a lot of stuff, and I really became a quick flipper, and I think that that's what happened with a lot of people. Honestly, I feel
Mhm.
like during the 2021 and 2022 seasons that we had, there were people that really believed in this shit. Like they really thought that what they were holding was the next big thing, and I think that we've come back to earth a little bit, at least me personally, to where I'm just trading stuff on a daily basis. I'm not, it's not like I'm not gonna lie and say that I am like not like I'm trading for money. I treat it like a game. So I don't know if you have the same thing, but like I personally love the the trading aspect of it because I feel like it's a game. It's like,
Mhm.
why would I play Fortnite right now when I could play this game and I could just trade and make money? And it's like if you get really good at this game, then you can actually make real money. And it is funny that there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, once they integrate tokens into these games, you can play games and make money. But it's like, no, the trading is the game for me, you
Yeah,
know?
people say it's not skill based. It absolutely is. Like, there's an edge to trading for sure. Analyzing stuff, viewing volume, even like people like I'm not a big fan of copy trading. Like, I don't buy stuff because another wallet bought it. But if I get confluence of like a few wallets that I track buying something, then it's like, oh, I'll also buy this. Or maybe it wasn't shared and I missed it somewhere and it's something new. It's like, okay, this is significantly more interesting now seeing that. It's like once you have resources, it's like I think of it like in a perfect example is Fortnite. Is like, dude, if I'm gonna get a gold pump, I'm gonna use the gold pump versus like a green SMG. Like it's just a better situation to be in and a better tool set to have. So like, why would I not leverage it? And anybody can do it. Anybody can find that. Anybody can use them, and anybody can get better. But I think that's like the thing. I like the game analogy because you're also seeing these Fortnite kids run up millions on meme coins, bro.
Well, and this is a good segue into another question that I have, which is for beginners. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are starting to pop up into meme coins and they want to trade and everything. And you're helping in the Bodoggos Discord. I'm helping in my group, which is Kanto.
Shout
And
out
like I
Kanto.
spend,
Shout out Kanto.
yeah, I spend time in there like all day long. And one thing that I noticed is like I get a lot of beginner questions, and there's certain things that are, you can answer, right? Like you can answer, you could say, do this, do that, but you have an experience that other people don't have. You've seen how many different plays, you've seen different coins, you've seen how they've performed, you have seen how the community has rallied behind certain coins. So it's like you kind of have that experience to where generally what could do well,
Mhm,
just based off of doing it. And I think that there's a lot of people that are walking into this space. They see the crazy PNLs, like they see that people made 200,000, $300,000 in one trade, and they say to themselves, like, well, why haven't I done that? And I think that there's a couple reasons for that. One, because there's a certain amount of people. There's only there's a specific group of people that are willing to put big money on trades and also have the conviction to hold.
mhm.
But a lot of it comes down to experience. And I think that one of the big issues is that people that are new are coming in and they think that they're just going to hop in. And it's the same like Fortnite comparison where it's like, if you've never played Fortnite before, but you see that people are winning and making money in Fortnite, you can't expect, if you're brand new, to just come in and crush it against people like you and me and everybody else who have done it well over time. Now you can get good at it, but it's like you have to put in the time, and I don't think that a lot of people have been putting in the time. And so with all that being said, what is your take and your thought overall on that sentiment of new people that are coming into the market? What advice would you give them, and what would you say are some of the I think it pitfalls, right? Like what are some of the issues that
Yeah.
people face whenever they're joining in and they're starting to do this, because we are seeing a lot of newer people come in.
I think there's a couple things too. Like the best piece of advice I can give someone is just start clicking, but start small. I'm talking like 0.05 buys and shit cuz you're gonna lose money. Your first 1,000 trades are probably going to go against you until you start to get a hang of it. And maybe you hit a big one early. If you hit a big one early, take 95% of that capital out of the market immediately cuz you will give it back. Like that's the most surefire thing is like every successful trader, not even meme coins, just pure trader, financial markets, equities, crypto, real estate, has basically always, every single one I've talked to, I would say 99.9% of them have lost it all at some point. Like they've ran up a bag and lost it all. And that's like the reality that sets in for like, okay, I got to take something off. And it starts to establish rules. The other thing I would say is like have a rule set, have a guide, have a strategy. What I mean by that is like for me, I never double dip in a coin. If I'm out and I sell something, I will never buy back into it ever. Like I'm so against it because I know I'll always give money back to the house every single time. And then the other thing is like depending on what type of strategy I'm doing, like am I looking for like pre-bonding pump funds? Am I looking for post-migration stuff? Am I buying 1 to 3 market cap coins? I have different take profit and stop loss targets on all of them, and I never change those numbers. When I buy that coin, I set the take profit, I set the stop loss, and I don't look at the coin again. That's it. It's like I have set targets for stuff, and occasionally I'll even leave like a moon bag. Very rarely though. I'm bad about moon bags. I like to just take it off the table and stop looking at the fucking
Me
chart.
too.
I'm like, I just don't want to stay. I'll stare at a chart all day. So like know your personality, know your emotions, and know how you best trade. But like those are the main things is like have a set target, have a set stop loss, and don't move them. If they hit, they hit. If they don't and it chops, let it chop. Don't over rotate. So don't jump from one narrative to the next because you're gonna just get chopped out. But it's the biggest thing I'd have to say is experience. Like I talked to Orangey and he was telling me how for 9 months he was doing 10 hours in the trenches Monday to Sunday. Like that's actual experience trading. Like you are sitting there clicking the buttons and taking action, and that's who you're trading against. So it's like if you want it, it's going to take time, effort, and capital. And just like anything to get better, it does cost money. You're going to lose money. And I just chop that up to like it's market fees, it's your tuition. It's how you get better at doing it. Is like you will lose money. It will get ugly before it gets better, but you got to do something there. Is like the best way to look at it is like if you don't try, you won't learn, you won't get better. So it's that's kind of like my mindset is like don't double dip, have set rules, and put in effort. Try because you will lose money and you will make money.
I think people are too afraid to lose, and it's like you how do I even phrase this? You can't be so afraid of losing to the point where you don't put yourself in a position to win. Like I think that that's what happened, because like I think on Twitter, when you go and you look, it seems like everyone's just winning all the time. Dude, I lose all the time. I'm sure you lose
Yeah.
all the
Oh,
time.
constantly,
And
constantly.
and I think that like people have this thing where they just feel like they have to win every single trade. And it's just like nobody wins every trade. Like
Not gonna happen.
it just doesn't happen. And I think one of the big things that you said that I really liked is strategy. This is something that I talk about on my YouTube all the time. And you have to come up with a strategy that works for you. Orangey, for example, I'm not going to speak on his behalf, but I know that he likes to buy $20,000 market cap shitters, and
So
he likes
funny.
and he but he's a scalper, right? Like he
That's it.
gets in and he gets out. He's even tweeted a bunch of times that he needs to get better at holding conviction plays, because it's hard when you get into that mindset of like I'm in and out, but that's how you be successful over time, is by saying this is what I am good at as a trader. This is what I know works, and how can I replicate this over time? And the biggest issue that I have is that I have a strategy that I've used over time where I will buy major dips on big established coins with size, and I'll make 1 to 2 to 300 SOL like in those trades. And
Mhm.
the times that I always give it back is when I am buying something that is new. Like when I buy something that it hit like a million and you're like, "Oh, is this going to keep running or whatever?" And I'll just say like, "Fuck it. I'm sitting here right now. Like I'll just top blast this." I lose more often than not whenever I stray away from my strategy. And so I think that that's like one of the really big things. So when it comes to strategy on that topic, what is your strat? Like if you had to verbalize what your strategy is on a daily basis of how you trade tokens, what is it?
Yeah, and honestly, dude, I think it kind of changes. That's the thing, is like some days I have more time, and those days where I have more free time, I'm like aggressively trading, like very similar to Orange's scalp side, where like I'll fire off 20, 30, 40 soul into sub 30Ks and sell like right before bonding for a 3x. Like just aggressively find narratives. And then occasionally though, you'll find one of those coins that you realize is like the meta for the next 2 hours. So like I bought Bob, which was like this random fucking stick figure,
I remember.
and I bought it at 35K. So it ended up running to 30 million. I sold most of my bag between 600 and 2 mil, which is still an insane trade. But because of that, there was like, I saw a bunch of derivatives launch right after it. And when you see that, that was like, okay, hold the winner, hold the first one. But then at the same time, you have situations where like, if I don't have a lot of time and I still want to trade, I'm looking in that like 1 to 3 mil range. I like coins that have been around for a little bit of time. I'll set 30, 40% targets on those where I'm buying 50, 60 SOL to make 15, 20 SOL in like an hour, 2 hours. So it really depends on the day for that strategy. But I know what I'm looking for on some of those things, like holder count rising, volume increasing. Is it reaching previous levels of support? And people always say like TA doesn't work on meme coins. I just dumb it down. Where have buyers stepped in before and where have sellers stepped in before? Look at volume on the bottom of the chart to see where it's ramped, and look at where the chart has either sold off hard or been pumped hard previously. And usually off those alone, you can find good entries for like quick trades that you can feel comfortable entering with a little bit more size without having crazy wicks or getting meved. But like my true core strategy is probably buying like 30 to 50K market cap on runners that go to like 2 to 300K. Like that's the range I love. Like hold for bonding, see if it sets a narrative. If it doesn't, you can usually get a pump to like 110, 120K and get out for like a 3, 4X. Or if it's the narrative, I'll end up paper handing $1 million, $2 million coin at like 300K. Like that's the range I like trading. I personally, people hate it, but I love the bonding gamble where you're waiting for it to bond to see what happens. And like if it's a good narrative, I even like that's the times where I'll average down on a post migration dip. And I'm like, okay, sweet. It dumped to 45K. Buyers are now aggressively buying. Let's also buy and see if we can double up the stack on a run up. So like, yeah, it's a very degenerate strategy for sure, but it's worked for me. Like I think yesterday I turned 5 SOL into like 73 yesterday. And yesterday people said the trenches were dead. But like I hit a couple really good trades. And what's like even with that 5 SOL, if it gets above 10 SOL, I can start to buy post migration stuff with a little bit more confidence and let it sit for a couple hours and let it cook.
Trading that way is hard.
It's very hard, but it's also like, dude, I've been trading since I was 16. Like that's the difference. Like traditional markets, options. I've never done forex, thank God. Like thank God, I've never gotten into forex.
Same.
Yeah, I was just good on that, but I was a big options guy. Trading a custodial account from like 17 to 21, 22. Time like I was short the S&P on put options when COVID happened and you had the flash crash. Like that was insane. But like that just comes from like being obsessed over metrics and data and numbers and the screen. I don't know. I think my biggest thing I would say though is like I have zero emotion on trading, like literally none. I don't feel sadness on a sell off. I don't get crazy excited. Like obviously you make six figures on a trade, you're like hyped, but then it's like immediately right back into all right, cut the wallet back down and let's do it again. Like I have zero emotions with the numbers on the screen.
Same. Yeah. It's funny you said that you made like 70 SOL yesterday. I lost like 50. And yeah, it's same thing. It's like I never think about the USD value. I think it happens a little bit more like you get numb to it when you have capital in the bag, right? Like so
Yeah.
when I know that I'm just like, oh, this isn't gonna change anything for me. Like, okay, yeah, I just pissed away a Rolex or whatever, but I just don't really care about that because it's just like it, I say to myself, like, I know if I log on tomorrow, I have a chance to make 100 or 200 SOL. And so as long as I don't give up, that's it. And I think a lot of people just don't put in I feel like a lot of people don't put in enough time and they
Yeah.
expect to get the results. And it's like kind of what you said. I know you do content, and I know that you said that on certain days that you have like a little bit more time to trade and you go hard. Same thing with me. Like if I'm sitting at my desk and I'm trading, I'm sitting here all day long. And I know that there's like a lot of people they'll be like, what's like the best time to trade? Like, what, blah, blah, that. And it's like there are certain times of the day that are a little bit
Oh,
more
for sure.
dead,
For
but
sure.
like you never know like what could happen. So the next question on that is how are you finding tokens that you like to buy, and what is your criteria considering that you're buying a lot of sub 100K pre-migration shit?
Yeah. So I mean, luckily, like obviously, I know Kanto has it too. It's like I use a lot of tools for stuff. So it's like I'm rechecking is the Twitter reused? I'm checking when was the website last purchased or when was it bought? Is it an old website? Does the website have the contract address on it? Like there's a lot that'll just LARP and stuff like that. Has the Twitter tweeted the CA? Stuff like that where like you try to find confluence and it's like, okay, is the Twitter reused? Has it tweeted the contract address? Does the website have the contract address? Is there less than I usually look for like sub 40% top 10 holding, which is still a lot, but usually those people end up selling pre-bonding anyway, and you can get it down to like 20%. Dev less than 5%, even 5% can be a lot. And insiders less than I hopefully less than 10% of insiders. Because that usually means like that top 10% then is probably a little higher if those are high. But I look for those and then I do like a bunch of social checks. Like, is this something new? If it's an AI, does the AI actually work? Like Alchemy, if you've seen that where you can just
Yeah.
type in and it creates that. We got in that, I want to say at like 800K, which was crazy because we immediately went to the website and just started testing it. And we saw a bunch of others. They had never tweeted the CA. So that one's like a one off, but like that one seemed to be the market winner. So it was like, okay, sweet. Like this one seems to be the most legit. Let's just follow that. Granted, I've been burned on the same way where everything can pan out and then the Twitter will post a CA that's not the one I'm in. And immediately it goes to zero. So it's like, all right, great, delightful. But like you can only do so much research. And the one thing I would say is like trade with people. Trading alone puts you at such a disadvantage. So like whether you have Telegram groups, Discord groups, Twitter groups, where people are doing stuff simultaneously. So like a CA gets shared, one person goes and checks the website, one person checks the Twitter, one person's looking at holder counts and volume, and you're aggregating all that information, it goes so much farther. Like it streamlines and speeds up your research to know if you're about to get killed.
Yeah. Using tools is super important. I feel like people are just not doing that. I feel there, one thing that I've noticed is there's a lot of people that are, I hate to say this, but like there's a lot of people that are normies and they don't like to invest in themselves as a trader. Like
Yeah.
you, you have to, like, I don't know why, but you have to go out and you have to like get these tools in one way or another. I know you have them. Like, this is the whole point as to why, like, I have them in my Discord, why other alpha groups have them. And people, for whatever reason, they're just like, I don't want to buy an NFT to get into a group. I don't want to spend money to get into a group. And it's like, you don't need to do that. But if you don't have friends, if you don't have a network, if you're like, it's different if you're like super well connected. Sure, okay, you've been around here for 3 years and you've got a great like group of friends, then that's awesome. But it's like if you don't have a group, like I've paid when I first got into crypto and NFTs, like I was paying for groups. There was like I didn't have anybody else. Like there like what
No,
else
you
are you
have
gonna
to.
do?
Like in my opinion, you have to. It's like, and honestly, dude, groups in my opinion are like some of the better stuff that you can get into. You know what I mean? Like I look at that and I'm like, yeah, why would you not want to get in a group if you're in a situation where like you know the information's aggregated, the data's better, like all that stuff? It's like, yeah, you should be in a group. You know what I mean? Like I think
Yeah,
that is just a better way to streamline the process.
yeah. It definitely is. And I'm in a lot of different group chats, and I think overstimulation from all this info, I think that's like one of the hard things. So it's like you really do have to curate the the best info so you can be successful. I'm going to ask this. What would you say is your biggest piece of advice for anybody that is trading in this market?
Honestly, it's what I just said too. It's don't trade alone. Do not trade alone. Find a group, pay for it if you have to. Pick up an NFT if you need to get in somewhere. Buy X amount of tokens to get into a chat if that's what it takes. But you just need a group of people because sourcing information together streamlines and gives you a much better edge. And you also have access to tools. You have a bunch of shit. So Canto's a great option. I know you guys have a ton of shit in there. And you guys are trading all day, bro. Like just find a group of people who are also interested in doing the same thing and eventually you will find success. Like that's it. The market's not going to slow down. It's better to get in early and start creating those relationships. And like the other thing with groups is like you quickly find out who in the group is someone that you should like tail. Like they share, like a lot of people share contract addresses, but there's people who find good shit. And it's like I have my groups, I see the same people sharing the best shit. When they share a CA, I'm going into it. I'm buying it and then researching after because they've usually done the majority of the research beforehand anyway. So it's like find those groups, start to identify people that are also trading, start identifying people that are making good trades, and start figuring out like what your community is and where you can find some good spots.
And then what is the biggest mistake that you think that people make?
Honestly, it's double dipping and rotating. So like making profit, seeing it go up more, and then being like, "Fuck, I'm gonna re-enter because I want to make more on it." Like getting greedy, and then rotating, trying to chase the next winner when you have a winner, or like selling something for barely any profit because something new is running, and then the old thing ends up running harder. Like if you have conviction in something or you think this thesis is gonna play out, let it play out. Like that's it. That's it. That's like what I look at.
Yeah. I think the biggest mistake that people make is not understanding what they're doing and still putting in more money than they're willing to lose. I
Mhm.
think that's like one of the big things is that they'll see somebody in a group chat buy something and they'll just buy it without knowing why. And that's one thing is that like I will be in my group sometimes and I'll see someone and they'll be like, I just bought this. And
Mhm.
I'll like look at the chart and I'm like, why did you buy this? And they're just like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, bro, like you're putting real money on the line, like
Yeah. What are you
into
doing?
yeah, like what like you get like, you have to have some sort of reasoning for this. And so yeah, I think that like a lot of people don't have a strategy and they don't there a couple things. One, people don't have a strategy. They don't have conviction in themselves, and then they also just are afraid to lose. And
Mhm.
so if I like for me on a daily basis, I'm okay with winning. I'm okay with losing. The goal is to just win more than I lose over time. And the thing is that I do think personally that this market has a little bit more left in it. There's a lot of people that are calling for tops. You know this just like I do. The market, while it could potentially die, there's always opportunities. Like there's
Yeah.
so even if Bitcoin goes to 70K and 60K, let's say it dumps all the way down and bull market's over, there will still be opportunity. Like all last summer, 2023, there were meme coins on ETH
Mhm.
all summer. So there were opportunities like crazy. So
Well, dude,
yeah,
that's the big thing I look at. I'm like, dude, holy shit, the whole bear market, you could have made money. Like, you absolutely could
yeah,
have made money. There was still opportunity every single day. Yeah, it's slower. Like a bull market, everything's just going up. But the bear market's for like getting better at stuff. And if you do that, you're gonna have opportunity. You're gonna be perfectly fine.
yeah. What are some closing thoughts? Anything else that you'd want to say before we hop
Don't
off?
stop clicking. Don't stop clicking. Like that's what dude, I love that bar because it really is true. Like you could lose 40 times in a row and then you hit one banger and you're back. You're in the green for the whole week, month, year. It doesn't matter. It's like don't stop clicking. There will be opportunity. Figure out your bankroll. Bankroll management's crucial. Identify like what's realistic. And they always say like don't invest more than you can lose. I know it's harder to do than just like saying that shit. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like just figure out a strat that works. Figure out what your unit cost is. So like if you buy zero point 0.5 of everything, 0.1 of everything, keep that consistent no matter how much money you make and watch the compounding gains happen. But don't stop clicking. You're gonna find a winner. I assure you're gonna find a winner. But Ash, I appreciate you having me on. It's been a ton of fun.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that this was good. I know that you've been really successful with trading, and I feel like you and I live a very similar life where we just do content, but we're also trading and we're doing it full time and we're just locked in. And it's funny. I've never like really thought about it like this, but I do feel like you and I are living a very similar life on a daily basis.
Chill. It's chill. I'm at the desk. I don't leave. That's it. That's
Yeah,
life.
and just with the content and everything. But yeah, I my goal with this video is really just to I want people to be able to hear conversations like this because I do this in VC all the time and I talk about this, but just because you're not winning when you first start doesn't mean that like it's a marathon. It takes a long time and you got to learn about yourself and you also you have to learn if you really want to do this because I'll tell you this straight up. You put in the time, you will make six figures over time as long as you are actively putting in the time and effort and you don't quit. It's the people that just think that it's quick and easy money. Like, I'll just say this. This is a very competitive market. You are easy. You put in a ton of time into this. I put time into this. Anybody that's watching this, like you're trading against us. Like we're experienced, like we've done this. And we're trading against people that are better than us. So it's like there's levels to this, and you have to realize that it's a game and your game is to stack your wallet. So anyway, I'll make sure to put all of our social links in the description of this video, wherever this is posted on Twitter or on YouTube. Thank you for taking the time to join up. I appreciate it a lot. Easy interact with the video. You guys know what to do. Support your boy. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one.